everyone. Come on in. It's your best you. I'm Reverend Dr. Kathleen Fennedy, and of course I'm here with my little guy Ruby and my co-host
John Kazmarczyk. Welcome. Come on in.
Hi, John. It's good to see you here again.
Thank you. Same here.
Yeah, so, here we are. It's good to see all of you, too. I hope you're enjoying the show. Did you see the last show? Was it dark enough for you? I did say it was the darkest day of the year, so...
Yeah.
Mind you, I think the camera might have heard me. But this is a new camera I'm working with, so I'm hoping that it's going to come out really good. I've added extra lights, and the sound should be good. So we're in the new year. Wow, 2023. It's a interesting number, and I hope you're doing well. We're on Chakra 4, which is the heart chakra, which is why thus far we have all the green. But we're recording this in January.
Yeah.
And I film it in January, and then it will be viewed in March. So I try to topic-wise, relevant, fresh stuff for you, that it's hitting on the right mark. And I thought about, well, what goes on in March? It's that's in relationship to the topic that I brought up in the last show, which was Valentine's Day, Cupid's arrow, and love's games.
Yeah.
And I said, oftentimes we think of love, we think of the heart chakra. But, remember, everything starts down and works its way up.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I talked about, Eros.
Yeah.
Because he's Cupid.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, what would I talk about with relationship to March and Eros? And I realized, do you know what happens in March?
What happens in March?
The equinox.
You're right.
So, I was talking about love being
Yes.
the light,
Yes.
and I've often mentioned Thanatos,
Yeah.
which is the death, and it's this kind of interplay that we have between light and dark. It's happening all the time in our lives.
Yeah.
Every step we take, we're in that kind of place of light and dark. And so Eros, who I spoke of, who was the story
Yeah.
of the arrow, and playing games so that his mother
Turned him into a baby.
infantilized him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was doing naughty things.
Well, yeah, he was playing with love.
Yeah, he
And,
was.
So the Thanatos, which is this kind of interplay between, love and no love.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, that's Equinox. Light and dark.
Yeah.
Light and dark. Light and dark. It's happening all the time. We're always choosing. The whole planet can't exist without light and dark. I think my little husky friend got near my glasses
Oh,
because
do they have husky
they
smudges
seem
on
like
them?
they have husky on them right now. But yeah, light and dark.
nose prints.
Quietly, she's outside right now. May we pray that she doesn't hear me talking and thinks that she's going to miss her space in the show, So she may, come in, as we all know. So the equinox, it's the meaning of equal night. That's
Yeah.
what that means.
Yeah.
Equal night. And it's the balancing of the day and the night and the light and the dark. And they're on the same lakes across the globe. So that seemed to me to be a very interesting talk point for March, because we have the spring vernal equinox.
Yeah.
And that's coming in really not very long.
No.
So you'll be seeing this right around the time before it.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, it'd be nice to know, what do you do? It's a day of the spring equinox to sing to the plant seeds, to contemplate, and to create an altar. Because it's all springtime. You want what? You want what? What else is then? What else is there? Easter.
Yeah.
You want new birth.
Yeah.
I brought the little bunny
And
in.
and in March you're going to get a few of the early plants that are coming up, the rejuvenation of the earth.
Right.
So, your crocuses are going to be coming up. Sometimes the forsythia starts to bloom right around then. So
I mean, it's
we
not
have-
a bad thought to think about in January.
Yeah.
Because it's very hopeful, and,
Yes.
and it pulls you to remember that there's always tomorrow,
Yep.
and a new day will dawn. And no matter how dark the skies or how frozen the earth, new life always springs forth,
Yep.
even within ourselves.
Yes.
Because on Your Best You, that's what the show is about, is helping us to, find what works best for us.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's not a task force, oh, you didn't do your best,
Yeah.
It's more of a sense of inner peace of kind of, did I do what worked the best, and then you can have a calm about yourself.
Yeah.
If you're uneasy because you haven't done something, you know it. Your
Yeah.
soul knows it, your
Sure.
conscience knows it, unless you're one of those very few rare people that I mentioned we have in our
Yeah.
population that have no conscience.
That have no conscience. Yeah.
Okay, so
And then it doesn't. But fortunately, that's not most people.
it's not the bulk of us.
No.
The bulk of us humans are loving entities,
Yeah.
and we are light and dark.
Yeah.
And so depending upon the circumstances in our life, different aspects will be showing up.
Yeah.
We're not the same throughout our lifespan. Hopefully we're
No,
growing, and
we change.
just like the bulbs, you
Yeah.
have your highs, you have your lows. You have your light, you have your dark times, your
Yeah.
dark times in life.
Yeah.
So being rhythmic with that, I thought that's something vital life people would like to know. Being in balance and balancing out that kind of Eros and Thanatos within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I see people, myself included, we sabotage our lives in different ways. I don't know anyone who hasn't done it. Why? Because everybody has the saboteur inside of themselves. And most times they're not conscious that they're using it.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes. And it's our development, but then it affects the people that are in our world. And then when I've talked about how people can change and come back anew, the past doesn't really like that, and will try to pull you back into an old paradigm, and your convictions and your strength and your courage and your belief in yourself as you spring forth anew is really important.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't have a nurturing community around yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're out there in the middle of the forest, and you're a little something coming up, and there's no one pruning you or watering you or protecting you. And it's the same in life.
Yeah.
So there are times when you may feel really alone. And that's why I talk about self-love. I've talked about it a lot. It's what I really believe in. But
Yeah.
I think people sometimes misinterpret it into a kind of a narcissistic, or they use it in a self-sabotaging way. And one would say, well, are you really loving yourself by doing whatever you're doing? And if you're not really loving yourself, your cellular body is going to know that, and it will respond accordingly.
Yeah.
We're no longer living in a time where we're not connected to our bodies.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot of the pharmaceuticals and the industry of the chemicals can disconnect you from your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's one of those balancing things, because again, it's the light and the dark.
Very true.
We didn't come here just to work. We came here to also play and enjoy and expand and have the pleasures and experience the emotions of what it is to be a human. Not just to, go and slave away.
No.
It's not a complete life. Or
No,
just
it's
to
not.
go and live recklessly.
Exactly.
I mean, you may say it is for yourself, but I'm saying in the grander scheme of all that we don't know, I'm not sure that it may be good for yourself right now because you say so. But then upon self-examination,
You kind of go,
under the equinox light, you begin to contemplate and go, well, maybe not so.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't do that quite right.
And then again, self-love comes into play,
Yep.
because you don't want to, crucify yourself.
Right,
or
exactly.
condemn yourself for whatever you saw about yourself that may be a shadow side, which is inherent in every human being. So it's getting in touch with that,
Yeah.
and singing to the plant seeds in yourself. Remember I've said we're a garden.
Yeah.
You know, how do you tend your garden?
Yeah.
You know, do you take care of yourself? You know, are you maybe a cactus who needs a drop of water once every couple of years? Or a bougainvillea, do you remember? The
Yeah, I
show
do.
on that.
Yeah, I do.
So yeah, it really is a relative thing, this self-care, self-love, but it is essential for a vital life. So I thought, well, we have 2 equinoxes, but we also have 2 solstices.
Yeah.
So we have the equinoxes in March and September,
Yeah.
and the solstice is in June
June
and
and
December.
December. Yeah.
So again, there's something very 4, a good number,
Yeah.
something very balanced about 4. 4 for a chair, you have 4 for a table, you have 4. 4 keeps everything balanced. Even if it's a pedestal, you have a base, which would be circular sometimes, but you're still dealing with the concept of a solid base.
Solid base.
4.
Yep.
And interestingly, 2023 is also the year of the rabbit. So, you know, here's Easter coming in the year of the rabbit. May you be prolific and abundant in all that you produce,
Do
you
you
know.
need that?
No, that's okay, you can leave that there. There's the top sheet, but thank you. So then I thought, well, equinox is the spring equinox rituals. Equinox rituals, rebirth,
Yep.
fertility,
Yeah.
eggs,
Yep.
Jewish Passover,
Yep.
Easter, and then the goddess festivals of Astarte, Easter, Christian Easter, okay. And some people visit graves of the loved ones during equinox, and they sweep the gravestones, and they leave offerings of flowers and food. And apparently the choice flower is the marigold for that time. Makes sense, I guess. It's a bright colored flower, the marigolds.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Open a window,
Yeah.
you know. Breathe in fresh air. Spring, March, equinox, Easter, Astarte, Passover. And you said something about, what did you say to me this morning when I said, we're doing a show, and I do all the prep. And Joan,
St. Patrick's Day.
which is, it's so funny, I'm Irish, but I don't really celebrate it because it's an odd one for me. But I do celebrate Astarte and the beginning of the new light in March, and the new beginnings, new seeds, new paths, and think of Newgrange and Stonehenge. You know, those are the places, the sacred places of the gatherings for the spring March festivals.
Yeah.
Now I don't know his name, I can't say it perfect, and I'm not sure, but it was in about 127 BC. Hipparchus is recognized as the discoverer of the equinoxes. And he had 2 books on the precession of the equinoxes.
Okay.
So, but in Celtic tradition we call it Mabon.
Okay. Yep.
So, but I think March is a wonderful month. It's the month I was born in too, which makes it even more wonderful for me. So Astarte is the goddess of spring. She's the goddess.
Okay.
It's a pagan festival. She was West Germanic,
Okay.
goddess of dawn.
And when is that festival?
Well, I mean,
I just was wondering
the equinox.
Oh, so it is on the
Yeah.
equinox. Okay.
I mean, equinox is a fixed festival. I think Easter is a flexible one.
Yeah,
It's
Easter
a movable
moves.
feast.
Yeah.
Between March 22nd and April 25th. But the Earth Sun movement.
Right.
Fixed.
That's solid.
It's balanced.
It's
We
not-
have
it
2
doesn't move
equinoxes and 2 solstices. We have 4 legs to stand on. Easter is always on the Sunday after the first full moon, after the spring equinox.
Okay. I was
And the
wondering
full
how they-
moon is important because it's the maximum light and the resurrection about the
Okay.
maximum light.
Yeah.
And it's, symbolically speaking.
Sure.
So
Sure.
we have the vernal equinox on 3/20, which is the following full moon is on 4/6, and then the Sunday after the full moon is 4/9 for Easter. That's for this year, 2023. So Easter moves into April. You see how
Yeah.
sometimes Easter is in March, and sometimes it moves because
Yeah.
it's depending upon the equinox.
I
And
always,
then the first full moon after the equinox. So you see how ritualized and spiritualized and how much of a history.
I had always wondered how they figured, because it was like, why does Easter keep moving? So thank you for sharing that. I'd always wondered about it, but I didn't know why. Why is it sometimes in March and sometimes in April?
Yeah, I'm sure we've all thought about it,
Yeah.
and that probably is what triggered my little investigation.
Yeah.
But,
No, I think that's great.
Yeah, but the Easter Bunny needs the equinox,
Yep.
and the Easter Bunny needs the full moon.
Full moon. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So the light is what opens up, the earth to bring forth, and the warmth to bring forth the new life. Well, think about that with ourselves. It's the light within, and our warm hearts that allow us to continually renew the world around ourselves. If we stay dark,
Yeah.
we're not going to produce new life.
No, we're not.
And and then when you are the light, it emits, and then the people around you get benefit from that light, and they get to grow. And it's like a more of a mutual light society, I suppose one could say. Because just as light is and beautiful words are contagious, so are angry words and cruel words.
Yeah.
And that it has a rhythm, because everything's energy, it will flow.
Yeah.
And the thing is that because we're humans, we're never able to just be in the light. Why?
Because they're going to be balanced.
Well, because we're both
We're
light
both,
and dark.
We're both right.
One can't exist without the other.
Yeah.
So, to say, oh, I'm just all light, well, then you're a light bulb until the light goes out.
Until the light bulb burns out, then you're dark.
Because no one is that.
No.
Or you could be an artificial intelligence, perhaps, or something.
Perhaps.
But even those, apparently, from what I'm researching, have a dark side to them too, because everything's energy, and this light and dark thing is part of what's going on in the whole universe. So, as I said before, the black hole will absorb all stars, all bright light. Light, be gone. Right? That's darkness. And then there was light. See? And once we got the light,
Everything changed.
right. I think they call it the full worm moon, because all the life underneath the ground begins to move.
That would make sense.
Because you figure it's
Yeah, the earthworms are starting to get active again. And
well, I don't know how quiet everything gets, but we always hear about how even water life and amphibians will tunnel down into mud, and they hibernate like a bear.
yeah, they do. Yeah.
Just like a bear. And
Yeah, because they can't really move around much, especially being either amphibians, reptiles, or because of their body temperatures. So they're gonna go into a state of hibernation.
weren't you telling me something about iguanas falling from trees?
Yeah, I on New Year's Day chat, I was talking to someone in Florida, and he said that the iguanas were falling out of the trees.
Yeah, we've heard about that because of the
And
cold.
it's because it's cold.
Right. Florida was unusually cold, and right now in New England, we're unusually warm.
Yeah, for January,
It's quite
yeah.
lovely, actually, for the month it is.
It is.
I pray that we
it's
have
in the
a
40s.
season like this, but
So
it's been
40s
nice.
in January is downright warm in New England.
Yeah, it's quite nice. It's sunny. It's a little on the chilly, but not comparatively.
No,
No,
no.
no. So
We had
Chakra
years that it
4.
was a lot
Right.
rather than this.
We have a heart for those poor little iguanas falling from the trees.
Yeah, we
but
do.
They do get warm, and they're not dead. They just
They're just kind
suddenly
of go into
their hibernation mode.
Yeah.
I think is what I'm trying to say is that
yeah.
they don't have the opportunity to go hide because they're up in the tree.
They're up in the trees. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the temperature is.
Temperature drops and they go. Boop.
Poor little creatures.
I know. So now they gotta wait for the warmer weather to just thaw out and they get
That's
their
right.
get their
I
body
think that's
temperature back up.
That's a good way of putting it. It's like you have to thaw out a little bit, everybody. You know, thaw out the cold heart.
Oh yeah.
Thaw out a little bit.
Yep.
The hardened. You know, let it get a little bit more. You don't have to heat it up on a stove till bubbling, but you know, maybe room temperature.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
That would be
you
nice.
know?
Yeah.
And even if we're in January, we know that the heart always wants to be loved.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the heart, as I've said before, is our balancing for kind of like our seat, because we have the 3 top chakras
And
and
the
the 3
3
lower
bottom,
chakras.
yeah.
And the heart is right in the middle. And that's our balancing mechanism. We don't want to just go from our head. And we don't want to just go from our gut, you know. We want to balance that with our heart. And so the anahat, the heart, get unstuck or get thawed. And so I think that it's interesting. I hear the husky at the door, and I'm sure you all do hear her too, but I won't be getting up for that.
Do you want me to get her in?
It's up to you if you want. Eros is the force of life, and Thanatos is the force of death. We're bringing in life right now in a form that you will be very happy to see. She'll be a little rambunctious, and Ruby's here, so. Hi, Crystal. Yes. I'm so happy to see you. Yes. Isn't it wonderful? Thank you so much. She definitely has the brisk on her. So love expands. Think about that. Love is an expansive energy. It opens up. Think about warming of your heart, you know, and Thanatos hides in the darkness, in the unconscious realms of ourselves, in our shadow parts. And it brings death to love.
Wow.
So think about someone who may be feeling the emotions of love,
Yeah.
okay? But it's lethal. You see?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, no, I can't do that. That's Thanatos talking. That's not love talking.
No. No, it's
That's
not.
death saying something, whispering in your ears.
Going.
There's
There's
a
something
fault
wrong
here.
with this.
There's something wrong with this, or there's something wrong with you. It operates out of fear.
Yeah.
Love doesn't operate from fear. Just readjust to the little Easter ball. And I have my big Easter bunny here at my feet, and my little one here at my side. But again, we can't have light without dark. We can't have day without night. Think of how would we exist if we actually had only light or only dark. And
Yeah.
some places on the planet go through parts of that,
Yeah, they do.
and it's really challenging.
Yeah, and either the extreme northern or extreme southern.
It can be very
Parts of-
challenging.
yeah.
Too much light or too much dark.
Yeah.
And our circadians have become strangely off balanced.
Yeah.
So even when we're practicing self-love, we want to integrate the proper amount of sleep with the proper amount of up and balance that.
Yeah.
And you can fool yourself into saying, I only need 4 hours of sleep a night. But the reality of it is I don't believe that the human form is designed for that.
No.
And so it will take its toll, and you may be able to operate like on your highest high, like you're boiling kettle on the stove.
Right.
But you could have had a nice warm, long, slow cooker pot instead of boiling over and burning everything up, you know.
Yeah. You can only do that for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and that's what it operates off of.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the energy it operates off of, and the high that it gives too. So yeah, equal night. So we want to give space for that dark. We want to recognize that within ourselves, within our whole form, we have this, but we have a bright spot right in the center of us. That's our heart. And from our heart center, we can become unstuck. We can warm one another. We can be warm with ourselves. And everything is reflective. So how we treat ourselves energetically affects how we even look.
Sure.
Okay, so you can see it if a person's been worn down and broken. You'll see it. It shows up.
Yeah, it does.
Anyway, I guess that's it, because I do have the husky in, and I don't know how she's showing up on the camera for everybody, but I hope you're having a good husky view, and love seeing you. And remember, get your little festivals going, do what you want to do for the holiday, but March is a full month, and have a good one.
Is.
I mean, it's March, and that's spring forward.
Yeah.
Blessings.
Take care.
I'll see you. Bye-bye.
The Saybrook Fish House in Canton has been serving fresh seafood, chicken, and steak entrees for 34 years, offering 3 cozy dining room settings, a newly renovated pub with craft beer, wine by the glass, specialty cocktails, and a lighter fare menu. Open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Reservations accepted for parties of 2 to 42, and gift certificates are also available. The Saybrook Fish House, nestled at the crossroads of Route 44, 202, and 179 in Canton.